This, as we're learning, members of Trump's legal team had a direct meeting yesterday with special counsel Jack Smith and other officials at the DOJ. This is all according to a person familiar with the matter. And all of this marking a significant escalation in activity around this probe. Let's bring in NBC News Justice and Intelligence correspondent Ken Dilanian, former U.S. Attorney and senior FBI official Chuck Rosenberg, and former FBI senior intelligence advisor Phil Mudd. Good to have all of you with us today. Ken, first, tell us about this grand jury meeting in Florida and what we know about the expected testimony.
Good morning, Anna. Frankly, we know very little about it. It's a surprise that there is a grand jury meeting on this case in Florida, and there could be a number of reasons for it, ranging from there was a witness that couldn't make it up to D.C., so for convenience purposes, they're taking the testimony in Florida, to they are contemplating charges against someone that could only be brought in Florida, to they're bringing the whole case in the Southern District of Florida. Those are the three options. If they did the latter, though, they would have to read in all the testimony that's taken place in Washington, D.C. They would have to have some FBI agent read transcripts of that, or at least the relevant portions of it, to that grand jury in Florida. So it poses a bit of a logistical hurdle. We still believe that there are things happening around this case on this grand jury in Washington, D.C., which has been hearing testimony for a long time on this. But, you know, this is a hall of mirrors. We're just seeing tips of the iceberg surfacing in the ocean here. Yeah. It's a secret process, so we're just trying to report it out.
Okay, but we do know the FBI found over 11,000 documents from the White House at Mar-a-Lago. This was in August when they did that search warrant, including more than 100 containing classified markings. So, Phil, I want to get your thoughts on this witness testimony in Florida at this stage in the investigation.
Boy, I find this interesting from a political and legal perspective. I got to tell you, from an intelligence perspective, there's not a huge story here. If the president had said last year, for example, that he accidentally had top secret documents, even after the initial conversations with the FBI and others, I think people in my place in the FBI would say, that's fine, turn them over. As Mike Pence did, as President Biden did when documents were found in his house. The story here is not the documents. They appear to be extremely sensitive. I'd agree with that. The story is telling federal investigators and prosecutors repeatedly that you don't have them when you do. And having sat around the table a long time with FBI investigators, there's nothing that irritates them more than witnesses lying to them to their face. So the story here is the cover-up. It's not the documents in the first place on it. He could have turned them over and justice would have said, okay.
I'm trying to understand, Chuck, why there would be the grand jury in D.C. as well as a separate one in Florida. Why these different grand juries for a probe that you would think is, you know, trying to all come together?
Yeah, good question, Anna. As Ken said, there's a couple of possible reasons. We don't know the actual reason, but it could be anything from the fact that there are separate crimes under investigation in Florida to allowing a witness to testify before that grand jury for his or her convenience. It's an unusual case, so it's hard to say what the typical thing is. Typically, however, we use one grand jury in one place, and if we bring charges, we bring it in the place where the grand jury is sitting. I think this will all be revealed. It's hard to know right now, looking from afar, precisely why they are using dueling grand juries.
Meantime, part of Trump's legal team met with special counsel Jack Smith in Washington, D.C. Ken, this is part of your reporting. Walk us through what we know about this meeting.
Yeah, I was there. So this trio of Trump lawyers, two former federal prosecutors included, came in the building. They stayed for 2 hours. They left without commenting. Excuse me. We learned that special counsel Jack Smith was in the meeting along with senior Justice Department career officials. Absent from the meeting, Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, and Lisa Monaco, the Deputy Attorney General. That's consistent with Garland's approach to special counsel investigations, which is essentially hands-off. But this meeting had all the appearances of a last-ditch appeal. We've seen this movie before many times in federal investigations, where the lawyers, unsatisfied with the reaction they're getting from the actual prosecutors investigating the case, they try to go up the chain to go to their bosses at the Justice Department and complain about their conduct and appeal against a potential indictment of their client. There's no reason to believe that appeal reached any sympathetic ears at the Justice Department, but we'll have to wait and see.
So, Chuck, that meeting yesterday follows a public request that we're hearing Ken allude to from Trump's lawyers to try to meet over what they characterized as, quote, prosecutorial misconduct. Is there any evidence to suggest that's the case?
None, Anna. And by the way, if there was, the appropriate place to bring that argument would be to a federal judge after indictment. And so Ken is quite right. These types of meetings happen with some frequency. It's after a charging decision has been made. It's not at all unusual. In fact, it's typical for the Attorney General not to be present at a meeting like that, whether it involves a special counsel or not. And often the government is simply in listening mode. I've participated in many, many of those meetings when I was at the Justice Department, and we listen. It's a courtesy meeting. It's rare for the Department of Justice to change its collective opinion. And by the way, sometimes, ironically, you can hear something in the presentation of defense attorneys at a meeting such as that one, Anna, which makes you go back and look more critically at a piece of your case and tighten it up. And so often, not always, the government can benefit from one of those meetings simply by listening to what the defense thinks are weaknesses in the government's case.
Phil, I got to say, the former president has been posting a whole bunch on Truth Social in just the last couple of hours, and it follows that meeting at the DOJ in which right after that he posted in all caps, quote, "How can DOJ possibly charge me, who did nothing wrong, when no other presidents were charged, when Joe Biden won't be charged for anything?" And it goes on and on. Again, no federal charges at this point. But what do you make of that reaction and the timing after this meeting?
Well, I find it interesting from a legal, and also a political perspective. From the legal piece, note that the team and the president aren't really saying that he didn't do anything. The team is talking about procedural issues. One of the challenges in this case for the president, and his former attorney general talked about this, is the evidence is there. You don't have to know anything about intent. The documents are there and they say top secret. So from a legal perspective, the fact that the team and the president aren't saying I didn't do it, to me tells me they're grasping at sort of legal straws. On the political side, I think the Barr statements, that's his former attorney general speaking in May, show that many in the Republican conservative sort of group, including those who advise the president, aren't going to be with him this time. They might have been there in the claims that the election wasn't properly conducted in 2020, but he's losing a lot of the flank with these continued problems when it appears that he's on the wrong side of national security. I don't think he wins this one.